Okay, good morning, Connecticut. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, America. Yesterday was quite a day. I worked a lot. I did a bunch of subpoenas in the area of Meriden and Southington and Plainville and Middlebury and what was the other? Oh, Southbury. With mixed success. Some were home and got, and others were not. And I came home. Went to my eye doctor appointment and they screwed it up. A lot of things get screwed up these days with clerical errors. They're absolutely through the roof these days. They happen. I think clerical errors and miscommunications, or people not reading their email, or just something, or not understanding something, or missing something that they should have read, happens at a rate of, I'd say, 6 to 8 times more frequency than it did back in the day. And so anyway, they screwed up the appointment. Now my eye's gonna be looked at on Friday. My right eye is isn't seeing quite right like it should. It's close, but it's just not right there. Maybe like a small cataract or something. That's what I'm doing. I am not officially a doctor, but I feel like a doctor. I am the doctor, you know what I mean? When I got diabetes, like I said, the first couple of months, I was scared to death. I started taking metformin and trying to cut down the sugars and everything they said. And then I studied it on the molecular level, realized what it is. And it can be cured. Onset diabetes can be cured. It just takes a lot of willpower and the right foods and the right habits sustained for a period of time. You just literally get rid of it, like literally cure it. The idea that it's not being talked about in mainstream medicine as a cure, something that can be cured. And most doctors will tell you it can't be cured. And they believe that. They're not really lying to you per se. They believe if you tell a lie, they're still lying to you. But if you believe the lie, does that make you a liar? Yeah, you're still a liar, but it doesn't make you as bad. So I'm not trying to demonize all the doctors out there. They're just being taught the wrong crap in medical school. That's what it is. What they're teaching doctors in medical school is a tragedy. And once again, what does that point to? Harvard. Harvard is no friend of the United States. Whatever the hell's going on there, whatever deal they made with Trump, may have temporarily taken care of things. I'd like to know what's going on. I would love for a Jewish student who goes to Harvard or Columbia or one of those schools to call me, man. Contact me or contact somebody who does real journalism and ask them, or tell them what's going on. How is it for you now going to class at Harvard or Columbia? Is everything cool now? Or is it still bullshit? Anyway. I took an hour off on the day and then went back out and met my new colleague, who remained unnamed at this time, but he is a colleague of mine that I brought in. I've met him through his father, the political movement. And he's going to help me run this company so I can concentrate on running for Congress or concentrate on helping save Connecticut. And again, we need everybody's help on that. People who want freedom, don't want Marxism. I think that's most of us. I sure as hell hope so. I know it seems to be at least 70% of us. I think it's more like 85, 90. If you really point blank ask them the question, do you want to live under Marxism or do you want to live under democracy? I think hopefully at least 80 are going to say, oh no, I want to live under free market. Because again, understand, free market economy is the reason why, it is the reason why when you go to the store, that like Ray Dunaway at WTIC Radio used to say, that all the checkout lines are not 8 items or less. Right? Or you go there and the shelves are mostly empty. Like the grocery stores you heard about, they ran in, I think St. Louis was the city where they tried, was it Missouri? It was one of the cities out in the center of the country where they experimented with government-run grocery stores, and the whole thing was a disaster. The reason why you have grocery stores full of food and all kinds of choices of different food, and you don't have to worry about starving to death, is because of the free market. Really, honestly. Under Marxism, you starve to death. Or you have a very little to choose from to eat from, and if you're lucky, you have to eat it all. You hear about the bread lines, right? Well, that's a result of socialism and Marxism. Quite simple. The kind of policies that the Democrats here in America want to institute. Our podcast with Selena, the Connecticut Common Sense, of course, we're going to work on getting people who have lived under Marxism, communism, to tell us what it's all about firsthand. For those of you young people that don't seem to know, that want to vote for a guy like Mamdani, you're crazy. Socialism only sounds good when you talk about it in a charismatic way. That's when it sounds good. Oh, it's not fair. These rich people get all this money. You're struggling. Most likely you're struggling because you're not applying yourself. You're not doing enough to pull your own weight. And to see a room full of people cheering on Mamdani, or basically just saying, hey, give me free stuff, let other people work for me so I can have free stuff because I'm too lazy to do it for myself. The other scenario is there are people that are not just mentally or physically capable, mostly physically. I don't think mental illness is an excuse for the most part, but there are people that are born with certain things, terrible mental illnesses, truly terrible mental illnesses, or truly physically debilitating things that can't pull their own weight. And what do you do about those people? Well, that's what family and friends are for. You help those people. And only then, if there's not that, then at that point, yeah, you got to have that little, side office called the social services office, I guess you could call it, to help people that really need it. So no one is here suggesting that anyone be abandoned or left incapable, that can't take care of themselves, or just people that truly need help. And anyway, after a long, grueling day yesterday, I ended up meeting my new colleague, potential partner, and did a process service at a medical facility. And doing process services at hospitals and medical facilities it can be stressful because they don't really expect subpoenas necessarily, and they get huffy. They don't want to give their name. I mean, more than half the time it works out fine, but there seems to be a little bit of a higher percentage of it works out fine, like almost all the time actually. Not more. More than half the time it works out without any kind of incident at all. Just handed the name, title, gone. So when you serve subpoena out of any business, you need the person who's taking the subpoena's full name. You already get their description. You have their description by seeing them. You get their full name. Now I'm in a process service training video all of a sudden. If you can, most courts will accept the first name only if they refuse to give you their last name, and that does happen sometimes. Sometimes they refuse to give you their name at all. And there's cases where you can still get it put through in court. You just put them as a Jane Doe or a John Doe. But you've got to get a good description. And that's where the rubber meets the road. I don't know why this is hard, but my employees and myself, my former employees and me, I'm just me now, and my new guy here that's helping me. The description, right? This gets down to like DEI stuff. It's not really DEI, but for practical purposes, you need a description of. I'll check this out. My glasses broke yesterday, but they still work. You need a description of the person, height, weight, or first race, gender, approximate age, approximate height, approximate weight, and are they wearing glasses or not? And if it's a man, these days who the hell knows, but if it's a man, do they have facial hair or not? Right? So those are the things that we use to describe. You get a full good description, and even if they don't give you their name, still go through in court. And their title. You need their title. They'll attempt to tell you what their title is. And they generally want someone who's in charge. You can't go to a restaurant and just grab the poor waitress holding the plates of food and be like, hey, here, I'm Sue the waitress. I mean, no, that might not fly. However, if the waitress is the only one working there out front and she's standing up at the counter and says hello when you come in, that implies some kind of representation. You may be able to get away with serving the waitress. Some companies don't. Some courts are better than others about that kind of stuff. Or in any business office, some people I'll get a thing say they don't want the receptionist. They don't want the lady at the pretty woman with the makeup at the front desk, right? They don't want that. They want a manager or someone higher up, right? But some companies authorize the lady out front to do those things. So you can say office assistant or, So it's kind of, I think for the most part, you can get away with serving a receptionist as long as they give you their full name and they're cooperative. Anyway, I showed my new guy how it works at the medical fair. I went with him on one of them, and then I gave him a couple more to go do on his own. I gave him some residences to do down in that area: Stratford, Milford, Hamden, New Haven is what I'm talking about for the medical places. And then from there, I went to, I came home. I got home around 5, exhausted. and hung around until about 8. Went to bed pretty early last night. Got some things together a little bit before the campaign. Have a notebook out, built up Douglas for Congress. I don't really want to do it, honestly, but I want to help. And I think this is the best way. I think I do have gift of gab. And I want to unleash it and destroying Marxism in America, essentially, and bringing the power back to the right. When we won the election with Trump, do not sit back and relax. You have to keep winning elections and keep increasing the seating representatives around the country for MAGA people. Let's look at MAGA, Make America Great Again, as Americanism. It's what started this. It's the same people that started the same thought process. Not the same people, obviously. We're all 300 years old, but the same process of thinking that led to the freedom movement, that led to the revolution, that led to the start of this country. And I will get more in depth and someday answer any questions. I consider myself an expert. So yeah, I'm a doctor and a historian. Pretty cool, huh? I understand I'm not really a doctor. Don't take that out of context, anybody. I'm not really an ordained doctor. Or I don't have a degree. I don't have a doctorate degree or anything. I go to medical school. But I feel like I understand the landscape of the human body pretty well. And I kind of get. Like, I'm pretty sure this thing in my eye is developing cataract. A little bit of a developing cataract. I'm almost certain of it. I've already diagnosed myself. I don't go to doctors very often. I don't trust Western medicine. We can get into a whole discussion about that too. Another time. Don't trust Western medicine whatsoever. They're all about the money. So if I do have to go to a doctor, there's a darn good reason. I don't go running to the doctor every time I have to. There are situations, especially over the last 5 years, where I've had to go. And when they go there, that doctor quickly understands that I'm not here for a diagnosis. I already know what's going on. Although if I'm not sure, I'll get the official diagnosis anyway. But I kind of already know most of the time, 80% of the time, that there's something going on. I know what it is. I've already diagnosed it, essentially. Because I'm a doctor. I'm my doctor. The guy that I hire that comes into the office, and I got to go here in a minute. Well, I got to go here in a minute because I'm at work. I'm at my office, which is in Manchester. But the thing is I've got to, you go to a doctor, you can just assume because they're a quote-unquote expert in their field that they know everything and you know nothing. I always consider the doctor like someone you hired. If you go to a restaurant, get a waitress come to your table, you hired her to help you eat your food, enjoy your restaurant experience, and she's going to kind of do what you tell her to do, really, for the most part, as long as it's not outside of restaurant policy, right? You go to a doctor, and people, they don't do it that way. It's just whatever the doctor says goes, doctor's orders, blah, blah, blah. That's not how it's supposed to be. Okay, the doctor, you hired the doctor to take care of your body just the same way you hired the waitress. You're in command. Let the doctor disseminate information. You make the decision. Think for yourself. Anyway, we're going to end this now for today. God bless Connecticut. God bless America. God bless all of you. God bless the brothers and sisters of the state and of this country. We got a lot of good stuff coming up. And I've got a little ways to go before I get to work, but we'll see you soon.